Hey everyone, and welcome to Order Up, the Final Order Cutoff show. We are going to be talking about some amazing comics that are on Final Order Cutoff this Monday, October 20th. And while it's not the hugest FOC week, there are some of the hugest books on this small but amazing week of comics on Final Order Cutoff. We also have an incredible guest from Ignition Press, so do not miss out. Stick around after this opener.
Hi everyone, I'm Mathias Lewis, and I'm here to talk to you about FOC, or Final Order Cutoff. It is the last chance that we, the comic retailers, have to finalize our orders for comics releasing roughly 3 to 6 weeks out from the Mondays we finalize our orders. We deal with this every Monday, but this is important to you, the consumer, because it is the perfect time to reach out to your local comic shop if you want any specific or guaranteed items. If you want the Jim Lee or Dan Mora covers of Justice League Unlimited, reach out to your local comic shop and let us know. If you want the new issue of Lilo and Stitch, this is the perfect time to tell us. Because as long as you can get us the orders before Monday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, that will give your local comic shop retailer enough time to finalize that order, adding in whatever it is you want, so they can guarantee when it releases, we have a copy set aside waiting for you. So, always reach out to your local comic shop before 6 p.m. on Mondays with the comics you want. The sooner, the better, to guarantee they're waiting for you.
All right, and this week we're talking about comics that are on Final Order Cutoff October 20th, this coming Monday of 2025. And there are some big ones. So I want to remind everyone there are 2 key websites that you're going to be able to view everything that's on Final Order Cutoff on. For those of you guys who are fans of Marvel, IDW, Dark Horse, Distillery, Boom Studios, and Ignition Press, you're going to want to go to prhcomics.com, which I will show on screen right now, thanks to our wonderful producer, Jay. But at prhcomics.com, you'll be introduced to a website that we'll show on screen momentarily.
There's nothing back here.
Oh, there's nothing back there. I didn't share my screen. This is a Mathias problem. Oh, always the fun of going live. See, never blame Jay. Jay's always in the right. Just to be very, very clear, I'm screwing up. So, as I said, if you want to see your Marvel, IDW, Dark Horse, Distillery, Ignition Press, Boom Studios, and more, you're going to want to go to prhcomics.com, where you will introduce yourself to a website like this. You will instantly see right there on the front page, FOC October 20th. You will click that, and it will bring you to this wonderful version of the page with all the comics on Final Order Cutoff. I always recommend sorting it A to Z. It makes your life a little bit easier, but if you want, it will open it up into random. Here you can see all 194 covers to well over 75 titles on FOC this week. Now, if you're a fan of DC, Oni Press, Image Comics, Dynamite, or more, you're not going to find those books on PRH or Penguin Random House. You're going to want to go to Lunar Distribution. Heading to lunardistribution.com will bring you to this wonderful website where you can just scroll down a small amount to upcoming FOC. Make sure you're on the right date, October 20th, 2025, and you can see all of the incredible offerings Lunar has on Final Order Cutoff this week. But, Jay, I think we're going to start it off at Penguin Random House. How does that sound to you?
Let's do it.
All right, so I'll pop over there. And I think I want to instantly bring in our amazing guest. He has worked in the comic industry in many roles for many publishers, but right now he has the prestigious title as the Director of Sales for Ignition Press. Please welcome Daniel Crary.
Hey, thanks for having me, Matthias. It's good to be
Hey,
here.
Dan. It's good to have you. I love this new title at this new publisher, and I'm excited to see it. What's it like? You're in what, your first week now at Ignition?
Yeah, we've just been going here for a couple of weeks. I was actually looking at the PDF for this book we're going to talk about. My name's in the back of the book. I was like, oh, I guess it's real. It's official now. But no, I previously I worked at Vault Comics. I was there running social media stuff and doing the events and everything for them, doing all the conventions and the live streams and whatnot. And then I was over at Oni Press for a while as their director of marketing. And now over here at Ignition, it feels like a homecoming. I have been really fortunate to get to work in comics on the publishing side and meet some of the best people in my life, you know, friends, colleagues, creators, shop owners, people that I talk to every day. I'm really lucky to work in this industry, but Ignition Press it's been something special. It's really a creator first, company. We really put the creators first and foremost. They are the brand more than we are by any stretch. And our leadership is exceptional. You know, Philip Sablick leading the charge after, years at Boom and Top Cow and Diamond. We've got Jamie Rich as our editor-in-chief. Jeremy Hahn is our creative director, and those three founders are just absolutely incredible.
I mean, there really is a large amount of experience for a brand new publisher in that company, both behind the scenes and on the pages in writers, artists, colorists, and more. So let's dive right into it, because as I mentioned, October 20th is a smaller FOC week. We have some great things continuing on, like The Adventures of Lumen N from Dark Horse. Amazing Spider-Man is getting a second printing, and Animal Pound is getting a trade paperback. All great titles. But one of the first big ones that I see is this new title, Arcadia from Ignition. Can you tell us a little bit about this book that you're the director of sales on?
Thank you so much. Arcadia from the Miranda brothers, from Roy and Inaki. This is the Eisner Award-winning team behind the massive hit We Live. Right? I almost said I Live, and I'm like, that's not it. No, and it's a incredible post-apocalyptic adventure sci-fi mystery. It's about synthetic humans in like a post-human society that are scavenging the remains of the previous civilization. It's sort of Alien Earth meets Fallout, I'd say, is kind of the quick and dirty pitch. But if you were a fan of Tom King's Vision Quest, just the nature of humanity and grappling with that, you're going to really enjoy this. If you are a fan of Once Upon a Time at the End of the World or Geiger, you're going to find something to love here. The book is stunning. Inaki's art is absolutely spectacular. And it really grapples with we get a whole lot of world building in a pretty concise amount of pages. And then we get to just live in that world and kind of feel what the day-to-day realities are. I love that cover. It's so cool.
I mean, having had the honor of reading the first issue, thanks to you, Dan, it is just crazy how this feels like an anime opening this up. And I mean, I know that sounds ignorant, especially coming from somebody who, spent a large portion of his life as a translator for manga. It doesn't feel like a manga. No, it feels like a full-on anime. Like, the art is so intense. It feels visually animated, as you can see there. And I mean, it really kind of holds a bit of a spiritual successor to their previous work, We Live. Mm-hmm. I mean, much more adult characters than We Live had. But it really feels like that dark dystopian future where things have fallen away.
Yeah, I mean, we've got, here we have one of the feral. This is an affliction that can, happen in this world. And, we don't waste any time getting into the action and feeling the scope and the stakes of this world. But to speak to that anime point that you made, it's the phonetic nature of this opening issue. Plus, we have some incredible immersive quality in that there's actually music in this first issue. There's 2 QR codes for 2 different original tracks. Roy, the writing side of this duo, worked with Mario Gonzo Lorente to compose original music. And there's original tracks for every issue of Arcadia. So we get 2 of them here in the first of what's going to be at least a 12-issue series.
Yeah, I mean, you say every issue that we're going to have this. This is one of the 2 ongoing series Ignition Press currently has, correct?
Yes, no, we've got Murder Podcast already running, and our standard operating procedure is kind of a 5-issue limited, or at least 12 to be considered ongoing. But we've got a couple of amazing titles that have already hit shelves. Murder Podcast. This is the second printing cover right here. Sold out in a true sellout, not, wink, wink, nudge, nudge sellout, but a true sellout. So we went back to second print on that one. This is an incredible story by Jeremy Hahn with art by Mike Tisserand. And the idea with this one is that there's a haunted podcast that's appearing in people's feeds. And once it comes on and plays for you, you start killing everyone around you. We follow some true crime aficionados who are trying to track down the mystery here. But we just had a sellout on this one. This one's going to keep going for a while. We've had really great feedback. But if you ever see an Ignition book out there in the wild that looks interesting to you, I encourage everyone to pick it up and look at the back, because we've written a pitch on the back of every book. So on the back of every Ignition Press title, you'll see the cover kind of bleeds around. And we do this for, 0-issue cold opens. We do this for subsequent issues. Here's another recent #1, Voyeur, which is a very sexy art heist piece by Leah Williams, who is an absolute delight. Very, very talented writer. But we have a pitch on the back for every book. So on every Ignition title, you're going to see, clear numbering. The artist for the cover is going to be over here by the barcode. We also have a rating, of course. And then on the back, you have a two paragraph pitch on the book. So you know exactly what it's about without, sitting there and thumbing through and treating it like a library. And you'll also get the complete, everybody who worked on the book there. And one unique thing that we're doing, I don't know if that's going to quite focus, but yeah, there you go. Every single issue has a serial number on it. So every single issue of the print run is going to have a unique number on it. I've got number 985 of the Murder Podcast second printing right here. And I've got number 4,399 of Voyeur #1 here. But anytime you see that key, anytime you see that logo, if it looks interesting at all to you, pick it up. We want you to pick our books up and take a look at the back, and you can find out pretty quickly if this is going to be up your alley or not. But hopefully that helps you get the books that you want and the things that you're interested in, whether that's, horror or sci-fi, fantasy. We're getting more into sort of sexy romance stuff too. We got some more coming in that regard, action things. We've got kind of political thriller, supernatural stuff coming. We've got a lot of different genres in the hopper. So if something's on the shelf at your local shop and it's got the Ignition key up in the corner, we encourage you to pick it up, flip it around, and you'll know pretty quickly if that's something that you want to check out or not.
Absolutely. Now, before we dive into more incredible stuff from Ignition, there's 2 things I want to point out. First off, I want to focus a little bit more on Arcadia and point out that the Miranda brothers are phenomenal. But Inaki's artwork is just stunning. For context, I remember sitting with the other Eisner judges in 2024 trying to figure out best penciler, and I'm sitting with Joe Illage, who is a very esteemed editor and figure in comics. And I remember just grabbing this IDW book and nudging him and going like, have you looked at this? This artwork is insane. And we're just instantly grabbing copies, trying to figure out who drew it. And it was Inaki Miranda, who we then nominated for Eisner. This artwork throughout is something in itself unique. As we mentioned before, it has that anime vibe, but I mean, it really does cover a wide range of, you have this, the ferals are one of our antagonistic concepts in this, that are haunting and evil. You saw just this dark horror artwork, but there's also just these unbelievable, upbeat, happy, bright scenes in there. Can you tell us a little bit about this world to give people the understanding that this is not just a solid tropic genre? This covers a wide range.
I feel like the closest like spiritual comparison I can make is an animated show called Scavenger's Reign that was on HBO Max. It's a post-human society. Everyone has these pearls, these spheres in the center of their head that kind of acts as a central computer and, stores your personal information, your being, really, like who you are as a person is kind of locked in there. And that's a mystery as to how did that come to be. And you get the full breadth of human experience really in this first issue. In some ways, it's also got an akin setup to Saga, where we get a little narrative reveal at the end that kind of has some similarities there. But we get to see people scavenging through the remains of a previous civilization. We get to see people racing on bikes, gambling on dog races, dancing to an old jukebox, and living out under the stars and grappling with the mortality of their friends and impending disease. There's a tremendous amount of humanity packed into these pages, where it does really transcend the alchemy of genre, right? Where we know tropes, you know, definitely has that anime vibe and feel. There's bright colors, there's vibrant action, there's really incredible character design. And we set up a lot of mystery and a lot of things to understand and discover. But even if there wasn't a payoff, or you weren't paying attention to the mysteries, the human story on the page, what we get to see transpire with someone, popping out from a cocoon, essentially a chrysalis, and joining this world that's already well on its way, is kind of spectacular. Hallyu and Fix are kind of our two main characters, and figuring out what their dynamic is and how that's going to evolve and what's happening there. It's a story that I'm genuinely excited that we get 12 issues at least to live in this world, because I there's not just all these mysteries set up, but I just want to spend time here. I just want to see different corners and different facets. I want to see how society in a post-human Earth has evolved,
I mean, it is the first time I will ever, and probably last time I'll ever say it, but I just want to see more of those dog races.
Yeah. They're pretty dynamic.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, no, this series is great. So another thing I want to talk about with Ignition is these numbers on the back.
Yeah.
I didn't notice them initially. I hate to say, it probably wasn't until Deluge that I finally took in all my copies of Ignition books and numbers. And maybe your boss, who is live at Comic-Con, can talk to us about it.
Jay, fix us so we can be seen. Come on, man. I've got Philip live from a convention, and we can't see him because we're under Mathias's chest. Come on, Jay.
Hefty chest.
You're going to fix it.
I'm fixing it. I got it.
Producing it.
There we go.
There we are.
So, live from Baltimore Comic-Con, we have Kyle and Philip Savlick.
That's right. We are amongst the people.
Out
Baltimore
in the wild,
Comic-Con.
Books in hand.
That's right. Getting books in hands. What do you say, Dan? You're slinging books and serving looks.
That's what we try, and it looks like
we try to do.
mission accomplished on your end there, Philip.
My first comics were Chuck off.
So yeah, we're just getting finished set up and getting going here.
Fantastic.
So Philip, who's on Kyle's camera, can you answer a question we just had? What is the story behind the individualized numbers on the Ignition books?
So we were looking to add some collectible element to the books that rewarded long-term collectability as opposed to kind of short-term flipping speculation, right? Because the issue with variant covers, which Dan and I have participated in and we love, and the artwork's awesome and all that, is it's easy for people to play the market, right? And the thing that we've done on these books with there we go with these individualized serial numbers is that the numbers are randomized. They're on every cover. They're tied to the print run. Our theory is that right now, if we print 5,000 copies of cover A, copy number 1 is no more valuable than copy 5,000. But if we have, let's say, I don't know, something gets popular because there's like a TV show on FX next year, then all of a sudden the collectors are going to say, well, I think copy 1 is more valuable than copy 5,000 because that's the one that I want. Or maybe people are going to chase specific numbers. Maybe there's going to be somebody who's like, I want number 320 on all my Ignition books. Or in my case, and actually Mark Nathan, who runs the Baltimore Comic Con, gave me this idea. So I'm gonna say it in front of him because he's right off camera here. My birthday is December 15th. So if anybody picks or pulls copy 1215, hit me up. I will buy it from you. There's a line here. That's the one I'm going to be collecting. But I don't even know what number I'm going to get. When I get my comps, when Dan gets his comps, they're completely random.
I got close. I had a 12,
So
but it wasn't 15.
that's basically what we're trying to do with it. We think that people that buy these books because they're excited to read them and hold them in their collections, there's this little bit of a lottery component there that down the road, maybe it'll be worth something, maybe it won't.
All right. Now, while people are getting their final order cutoff orders to their local comic shop, if you're anywhere in the Atlantic Northeast of America, around Baltimore, and you can make it out to Baltimore Comic Con, where would they be able to find the Ignition Press booth?
Booth 1901. So we're kind of at the beginning of. Oh yeah, there's Stephanie Williams' Roots of Madness. We're at booth 1901 in the front of the hall, just to the left when you come in.
All right. So before I let you go, Philip, as we have the big man here, we just talked about Arcadia, which we're all excited about. What's your favorite book currently on stands or coming out from your
That's not a question I can answer. That is an impossible question, Mathias. Each one of these books I love for a different reason, just like both of my children. And my youngest tries to get me, she's like, am I your favorite? I go, well, you're my favorite Mila. Each one of these books offers something different. I think the thing that is really exciting about Ignition is because of the way we've set things up. Each one of these creative teams is doing their absolute best work. I look at the stuff that Jeremy's doing, that Colin's doing, that Mike Tisserand, who's really not done comic books, has been in animation for years, and they're just bringing it. So I think it's just about picking the one that's right for you.
Not yet.
All right. And I mean, definitely all quality there. So we'll let you get back to selling books. What was it? Selling looks as well.
Slinging books and serving looks.
That's right. That's right.
So we'll let you guys get back to that. I hope you guys both enjoy Baltimore Comic Con. Awesome to get a live look at Ignition doing exactly what it does best.
Awesome. Good to see you, Dan.
Good
awesome as always. Bye.
Do what I can, boss.
All right. So, Dan, obviously some great news to see that you guys are coming in strong. Your first year as a publisher, you're already set up at multiple conventions you did. Let's see. I believe you did you guys do San Diego as well?
Oh, yes. We did the San Diego Ignition Press Room. We had an offsite. Yes. And I got to give a huge shout out to my colleague, head of marketing, Bree Sarpy, certifiable badass in every conceivable sense of the word. But she set up one of the most perfect spaces I've ever seen. This is before I joined the company. And she set up an incredible space. They hosted signings on, zero issues and first looks, and got our talent there. We got Stephanie, we got Leah, we got Tim Seeley, Cullen Bunn. Bunch of folks were hanging out. There was an art installation from Arcadia that was there in the back of the hall there. She put on an entire burlesque show themed around the book Voyeur. because it's a sexy art heist. So each of the individual numbers were themed around different pieces of art. It was really incredible. They had this great photo booth backdrop thing. Through a couple of really great parties there. It was kind of the spot to be. And then we were just at New York Comic Con, and we had tremendous time at the retailer day there. Philip and I got to give a little presentation and talk about new books coming out from B. Clay Moore and Dennis Hopeless, and a few other fun new things coming, and thank retailers for already engaging with us, and then hanging out down in Artist Alley for that one with that smaller booth setup that Philip had there, where we can be right where the people who love comics are, and did a bunch of signings and got a lot of people to check out Ignition books. And then the big one for us at New York Comic Con was the Beauty panel. So the Beauty was previously an Image book that ran for 33 issues, and from Jeremy Hahn. And now, yep, there it is. We've got the new number one for a new story set in the same universe that's out very soon. That is out.
That is out on October 29th.
29th. Thank you. I was like, it's got to be. It's not next week. It's the week after. But Jeremy Hahn and Jason Hurley are back, the original creators. But there's a TV show based on the original series and all the wonderful new stuff that they're dreaming up, and that comes out in January on FX from creator Ryan Murphy. Talented kid. I think he's going to go somewhere in that TV business. This Ryan Murphy seems to have the juice. But yeah, so the Beauty number one, the new number one to get on board there, is out in 2 weeks. And that trade, which I don't know where mine went, but that trade that the boss held up, that yellow one, that is only available in comics shops right now. The Beauty has been out of print, and you are only going to be able to get caught up and dive into this world by getting to your local comic book store and asking for the Beauty trade paperback. It's called Book One. It's got 11 issues in there. $19.99 suggested retail price on that for a hefty trade. But if you want to get caught up, if you want to know what the Beauty's about before the TV show from Ryan Murphy premieres on FX in January, you are going to want to get to your local comic shop, ask them for one. If they don't have it, tell them you can order it from PRH, from Penguin Random House. But it's going to be so cool. The Beauty is a world where there's an STI that will make you Hollywood hot. So if you enjoyed The Substance, you're going to like the Beauty. If you enjoyed the Nip Tuck show from years ago from Ryan Murphy, you're going to enjoy the Beauty. It's sexy, it's psychological, it's a little bit terrifying, but it's very, very fun.
Yeah, it is probably one of the only comics that's going to make you wish you had a sexually transmitted, not disease, but what would the I be, I guess, in that?
Oh, infection. Yeah.
Infection, yeah.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, for what? A small fever and likely death, you get to look beautiful for the last of your living days. I mean, haunting concept. But that was obviously the plot of the original series, which is in the trade, as you mentioned. What is the storyline on the Beauty, the new series that is exclusive to Ignition, starting up in 2 weeks?
So this is set in a world just like our own. How's about this? I'll give you an example. I'm going to read this directly off the back, so you know this is what you get. Soon to be a television series from Ryan Murphy and FX, this smash hit comic returns with a brand new volume. Set in a world not unlike our own, The Beauty chronicles what happens when a new sexually transmitted disease begins to spread. Only this is a disease that people actually want, as those who contract it are literally changed into a more beautiful version of themselves. The only hitch is a slight fever and then eventually death. But isn't that an easy price to pay to be gorgeous? Follow several characters as they deal with the Beauty and how it has changed society around them. A thief for hire on a dangerous job, a meteorologist with plummeting ratings, and special agents specializing in beauty-related crimes will all find their lives converging in unexpected ways. So we get a pretty good setup there, but we get introduced to several new characters, some who've already contracted the Beauty and some who are in the process or about to. And it's a very steamy, sexy first issue back. I should have sent you some pages for this, so you could have had that, but it's
got to be careful on what we're showing off from.
I was gonna say I'm trying to peak here and keep this G-rated, but We've got, I would say, a police procedural element happening here. We've got a heist element, and we've got a real critique of it. The beauty is a critique of Hollywood stardom and the things that we will do to achieve fame and fortune. And in the same vein as the original series, we're approaching that from multiple angles. So, and I don't want to show the last page because we get a villain reveal that is truly spectacular. But but then the upcoming cover for issue 2 there, the cracking of the skin, the look that's been sort of cultivated with the beauty. I love it. Like, aesthetically, it's very recognizable. And if you are interested in sort of a once upon a time in Hollywood from hell, you're going to enjoy the beauty.
All right. Before we talk about the last Ignition book I really want to promote that's upcoming, there's something Ignition does that is very unique, and I think it needs to have a little bit more attention spotlighted on it. You guys have your ash cans and your first looks, which you can often find at your local comic shop. Can you explain how these are, if they are, different from the traditional issue number 1s that people are picking up off the stands?
Absolutely. So retailers have an opportunity to order ash cans from us as an incentive item. So these ash cans are going to be a smaller, compact, printed version of part of issue number 1, not all of it. So you're going to get part of the story, and they're meant to be giveaways. They're meant to be freebies. You may see them out on the counter. Sometimes they'll put them in people's pull boxes, or your file, however you refer to it in your store. But trying to give people a preview of a book that's upcoming. So, for example, we have Arcadia on FOC, and the ash can that retailers can order with that is for a book called Ripcord from Cullen Bunn that's coming out in February. So when the ash can arrives, you can read that and decide if you're interested in the book or not. So those are free and meant to be giveaways. We've also had our cold opens. These are 0 issues that take place in the same world. I'll pull an example of one of those. Here's the one for Arcadia. And this is an original story that you do not have to read this in order to understand the number 1. It functions on the same way as a cold open in film or television. Like, you get a splashy moment in the world that we're establishing, but then cut back to the main story. It establishes a few things. It gives you a taste of the kind of story that we're going after and what you can expect from this series, but it is not required reading. That story content will be collected in a trade paperback eventually, but it's not necessary. So the idea with the ash cans is that's a free sample of the number 1 issue. We want that's out there for free. That's available. The idea with the cold opens is trying to get those in places where comic book fans aren't. And we've done some things on Kickstarter with them. We're doing some things where we're looking at some in-person events and some shop collabs and some other things for the future. But the end of these cold opens will have, other things from the world, character sketches, concept pieces. But the very end is all about how to buy that number 1 issue. So these cold opens are designed to get out into the world and find people who might not necessarily go to a comic book store right now, but they are designed to then funnel people to a comic book store for number 1. So ash cans, sample of the first issue, cold opens, a little different taste, flavor of the world to go out other places to try and bring people into the one communal gathering spot left in America that I think we all enjoy, which is the comic book store.
I love that. Not only do I love that it sends people to the comic shop, but it gives you something to go hunt down. Now, a really cool thing I know for a fact that you guys do with these cold opens, aside from getting them into places that aren't traditionally comic shops and sending people back to comic shops, is if a comic shop wants it, they have the ability to reach out to you. Correct, Dan?
That is correct. You can
So-
email retail partners at ignitionpress.com for any sales inquiries on anything. Please let us know. Reach out. I'm here to help. But yeah, we absolutely are working with shops to provide those cold opens for those collectors, those people that are really diehards, or if you want to take that into your store, you absolutely have the opportunity to do so.
Awesome. So the last big Ignition thing I have to talk about, I'm super excited about. Obviously, in 2 weeks, we have the Beauty relaunching. Arcadia is in a little over a month and a half on November 26th. But
Wednesday before Thanksgiving. It can be your Thanksgiving when you're full after Thanksgiving. You can just lay back on the couch and read Arcadia #1.
I like that.
Yeah.
But the big one that I'm also really hyped on, right in between all that, on November 5th, Tim Seeley has a brand new series from you guys that we already FOC'd, but you can still always talk to your local comic shop about advanced reorders on, or just make sure they obviously ordered it because they watched the show. Let's talk about No Place.
No Place. I'll give 1785. I'm sure there's a historical significance to that number, but I'll give you the straight read once again. Years after vanishing from her Chicago neighborhood, teenage outcast Mariposa Montiel returns to a traumatized family and a media circus with nothing but a tiger-striped feather and an extraordinary story of her time away as the champion of a magical jungle land called Meahula. Mari's tall tale has made her a stranger in her own life, but now a secret organization has emerged from the shadows to welcome her home. Led by a legend of the Land of Oz, the agency has its finger on the pulse of so-called fictional worlds, and as its newest recruit, Mari must rediscover her strength to save Earth from a creeping Lovecraftian nightmare. So if you've ever thought to yourself, The Wizard of Oz is basically an isekai, you are correct. You are absolutely correct. This is stunning work by Stefano Simeone. And yeah, again, I should have gotten you some pages, but dealing with the aftermath of a Chronicles of Narnia style journey, of a Wizard of Oz type adventure, years later returning to the world that you left behind, having been fundamentally altered and having experienced things. I mean, look at that art. Come on. Having experienced things that no one in your life could possibly relate to, and then being pulled into a cabal of, no, can't show that. That's too big a spoiler. Can't show that. Yeah.
But that's a good sign.
It is a good sign.
waiting for you to pick up the book.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, anyone who has enjoyed Tim Seeley's work, he's done a phenomenal job over the years with numerous titles. This isn't going to be, he's such a prolific writer, but he's also such a versatile writer, right? Revival is very different from his work on Godzilla, is very different from his work on Hack Slash, which is very different from his work on Money Shot, book I worked with on him over at Vault. But No Place is a very intriguing, action-packed story. I also think anybody who enjoyed The City We Become, the novel by N.K. Jemisin, it's got some flavors of that with sort of a multiversal angle to it, as well as a Lovecraftian horror element. You can see there in that cover that's by Tim there. And then we've got the A cover here by Stefano. Yeah, I'm very excited for people to get this book in their hands because it's very much a Tim Seeley story, but him going in a different direction than what you've seen from him in a while. It's kind of bread and butter Ignition in that way. We're trying to create a home where creators can be sort of let off the leash a little bit, tell that story you've always wanted to tell something that's a little askew, a little left of center for you, something that feels like a story you would tell, but is a little bit plus, a little bit extra, getting the freedom to do that. The recent #1 Deluge from Cullen Bunn is another good example of that, where Cullen, we know him as the godfather of horror in comics. For 20 years, he's been scaring the pants off of us. But with Deluge, he's getting to tackle a really incredible real life tragedy about a women's prison that was in a floodplain, and taking that concept into a very distinct horror direction. That's really fun. But yeah, no, I'm glad you brought up No Place, because Tim Seeley will never be rid of me. Unfortunately, wherever I end up, I'll always be working with Tim. And I was very pleased to see a book from him very, very early on. And actually, hey, look at that. Yeah, it's got my name right in the back of the book there. So that's fun.
Dan's not making it up. He does work for Ignition.
I do. I promise. I got this. I got my business card. I promise. I'm legit, guys. I'm not someone that Mathias just pulled from off the street.
Title, credits, and keys. He has it all.
I card carrying member, I guess.
All right. So, Dan, some amazing stuff from Ignition. I'm hoping everyone is going to reach out to their local comic shop, get orders in, and enjoy some incredible Ignition Press comics over the months and years to come. I'd love to keep you on, so I'm hoping you will. But really quickly, can you remind everyone where they can find more Ignition Press and where they can track you down for other upcoming and exciting information in comics?
Absolutely.
Online.
So follow us at Ignition Press across all social networks. We're big on Instagram and hilarious TikToks. We're doing really fun stuff there. Ignitionpress.com is where you can sign up for our newsletter, which will keep you up to date on everything coming and going. Obviously, Philip's in Baltimore right now. I am going to be in Bradenton, Florida, at the one and only Bat City Comics on November 26th for the launch of this book. So if you are in the Bradenton, Tampa, Sarasota area and you want to come hang out for the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, if you need to get away from your family for a minute, come to Bat City, come say hi. I'm going to have a bunch of little giveaways. I'm going to be bringing a ton of books with me, stickers and some pins, all kinds of stuff. So come see me at Bat City Comics on November 26th. And then We'll be putting together a robust schedule for next year for the convention stuff. But fortunately for Philip's travel and sanity, Baltimore is going to be our last convention of the year.
All right. Well, Dan, would you like to join us as we peruse through?
Let's run through it. I may
right.
have to turn my camera off at some point because I got to go grab my dog. And I'll be honest, I work from home, so I wear a decent, from here on up, but the bottom's just sweatpants and nobody wants to see me waddle away in sweatpants. So I will kill my camera if and when that happens.
The honesty of live streams. I love it. All right, let's pop over to prhcomics.com and look at the other amazing books. I want to really quickly show off again Arcadia on PRH Comics so you guys can see not only this amazing A cover, but the easy way to find out more about the book by scrolling down. You can learn about the creators by clicking over here. You can even see the additional covers that are available. PRH Comics has its flaws, but it is a wonderfully organized and detailed one. You can even see those incredible incentive variants. But hopping back over to the FOC page, let's scroll on down. And please, Dan, let me know if there's anything you want to talk about, as we have a lot of great continuing Marvel and other series at PRH, like Battle World from Christos Gage and Black Cat from G. Willow Wilson.
Such great covers on that.
Yeah. One I'm particularly excited about, though, is Boom Studios is back with Briar. If you haven't read Briar, Briar is the story of Sleeping Beauty if Prince Charming never gave her that kiss and woke her up. Instead, he was the horrible guy who just said, I can marry her without kissing her, rule the kingdom as a horrible warmongering despot, and watch it all fall apart. Sleeping Beauty, our Briar, has to wake up to the post-apocalypse of her kingdom having fallen. And it has been a dark and amazing fantasy tale from Christopher Cantwell. We are now entering our final arc for Briar with Night Terror, which is on FOC this Monday. I'm hyped on this.
I am a big Christopher Cantwell fan. I already loved his work, but I worked with him at Vault on Blue Flame, and I worked with him at Oni on Out of Alcatraz, which is being collected into a hardcover graphic novel that I think is out this coming week. But Chris is always a top-notch writer, creator of Halt and Catch Fire. He's worked in Hollywood for a number of years, but his comics work is where he really does exactly what he wants, exactly the way he wants. And I'm so glad that Briar's in its final arc, because I want that big hardcover. I'm an omnibus guy, and I want that compendium, baby.
And beautiful, beautiful covers to choose from on there.
Yeah.
So definitely let your local comic shop know which cover you want.
Absolutely.
Another big boom one I'm excited about, because it's got Keanu Reeves, is Berserker: The Bleeding Tide. And this one's for Greg, because I screwed this up back in July. Exactly how do you deal with a pirate berserker, Dan? Like, what title would you give him?
Give a pirate berserker?
Yeah.
Oh, I'd probably call him Old Keanu One Eye. I assume he has an eye patch.
It's got to be Berserker.
Ah, it's right
it is.
there.
That's
It's right
great.
there.
So Berserker: The Bleeding Tide has Marjorie Liu of monstrous fame, New York Times best-selling author Marjorie Liu and Keanu Reeves teaming up to write a pirate tale of the incredible immortal that is Keanu Reeves. Likeness to a T. I am beyond excited. There are a million great covers on this one. I mean, Keanu Reeves is a pirate. Tell me you have not been, whether it was consciously or not, dying for this concept for a lifetime.
He's been a Christ figure. He's been a cool guy traveling the universe. He's an angel in an upcoming movie. He's done it all, but I've never seen pirate.
Yeah, I feel it is what the world has been missing this entire time. And we had it earlier. We might have been in a more peaceful place, I think.
Different timeline. That and Harambe not dying. Those
were the two places we went wrong in society.
We need pirate Keanu and we need an alive Harambe, and we're there.
There it is. So, on a very opposite end, one thing we are getting more and more of these days is Punisher. And Jimmy Palmiotti is back with a brand new Punisher series, because one wasn't enough. He is doing Marvel Knights Punisher with Dan Panosian, and now he is doing Daredevil Punisher, The Devil's Trigger, with a group of incredible artists. Philip Tan, Chris Giarusso, which is not what I would have expected as an artist for Daredevil and Punisher, and Tommaso Bianchi. This is an all-star cast with some amazing covers, including Dan Panosian on one of them. And it ties us into all of what we've been loving in the MCU on Disney Plus, no?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it ties in almost directly. They've done a nice job. I think there's two different schools of thought. I think DC is kind of letting the comics lead the movies, and Marvel's kind of letting the movies lead the comics a little bit. 6-1, half a dozen the other. But I think this is a nice symbiosis here.
Yeah, and I mean, hey, I will never complain about Jimmy doing Daredevil or Punisher, let alone the combination of the two. So this will be a fun new series. I'm looking forward to this. Issue number 2, you can see already on solicitation right there. A lot of great covers. I want to remind everyone, In-Hyuk Lee is doing the theme of Streetverse variants across this month for October and November releases. So we have a great Elektra Streetverse variant there too.
The Streetverse covers, that isn't going to inspire a lot of cosplay. We're going to see a lot of cosplay in the same way that like the Hellfire Gala covers have really given us a lot of awesome cosplay looks. Like that's just begging for it. Look at that. So cool.
So in that realm of something completely different, we have another one from Dark Horse. Kyle Starks doing Devil on My Shoulder. And this is far from his Rick and Morty or Rock Candy Mountain, comedy. Devil on My Shoulder is a twisted revenge tale of a young woman who, after days of being tortured in unspeakable ways, at least on this live stream, by a group of very evil men, is now out to get vengeance. And there's a paranormal demon twist in there. This is definitely far beyond the John Wick, revenge, but I expect it to be even more violent. And, again, not what I would expect from Kyle Starks, but Kyle's been really showing the diversity of his writing skill in recent months.
No, I got to meet Kyle in person for the first time just at New York Comic Con, and he gave me a little banner that says Comics Curmudgeon on it. He's an absolute delight, and it's very cool to see him sort of flexing different areas of genre, different things that he's interested in. This almost feels like a sort of a Drag Me to Hell meets Promising Young Woman.
Yeah, I mean, and the covers give that haunting effect too. You look at Martin Simmons and Christian Ward's pieces here. Just
we love to see a Christian Ward cover.
Yeah. Now, continuing on, again, a lot of Dungeons and Dragons, from Dragon and Chameleon, Dragon Head, Dragons of the Realm. But one I want to point out is an actual Dungeons and Dragons piece that not every comic shop might stock, but if you order it, they have access to. It is the Dungeon Master's Campaign Journal. Now, Dan, have you ever played Dungeons and Dragons?
I work professionally in comics. It's actually required. They won't let you work at a publisher unless you. No, yeah, I've played Dungeons and Dragons before.
But how many times have you or somebody in your group forgotten a key fact of something that happened multiple sessions back?
Every session for as long as I've played.
No more. With these incredible campaign journals, they make it very easy to add all of the details, all of the information about random items, NPCs you interact with, and the like. The Dungeon Master's Journal is designed to help out the Dungeon Master track all the details of their campaign, but there's also a player's campaign journal that is on FOC this week as well, that's going to help you track your interactions with NPCs, the facts they told you, the tips, the items, the locations, all of those things that will make your life a million times easier, because suddenly your player or your dungeon master will have a greater memory than any of us tend to.
I mean, really nice. Having that extra brain, it's invaluable. You want to be able to keep track of everything so you can maximize the immersive storytelling experience without looking like a chump going, what's his name? The guy we met with the thing that he had.
It's funny because I always roll like a 14 to 16 intelligence for my character, but the real life me has an intelligence of 6 at best. So that'll help really immensely.
But you make up for it with your constitution.
That's the key. My constitution in game may be a 10 at best, but my constitution in real life tends to float around 22 at least.
Listen, we're all min maxing. You got to pick which lane you're gonna stick to.
Yeah, but these are really wonderful tools that will be available through your local comic shop or game store that has PRH access. It looks like the traditional D&D book, so it'll fit nicely on your shelf, in your bag, and it will give you a very wonderful and organized way to track all the information from your personal campaign.
Outstanding.
Yeah. A lot of great Marvel continuation here. Not so many number ones, so I don't want to spend a huge amount of time. But the Age of Revelation is going deep. We have Cloak or Dagger, Expatriate X-Men, X-Vengers, etc., all on this week's FOC. So making sure that you take a moment, look through all the covers, and let your local comic shop know if this is something you're committing to. Are you deep into the Age of Revelation? Do you want to bend the knee to Apocalypse's successor? Or are you with the rebellious groups trying to fight X years later from going any further down that mutant-driven realm? So a unique one I want to talk about. I'm curious if you've heard about this, Dan, because this one caught me off guard when I was looking over Final Order Cutoff this week, is I Am Their Silence.
I don't know this book.
Yeah, so it's an original graphic novel coming out from Dark Horse, but the part that caught my attention is it's by Jordi Lefebvre. Jordi did an amazing graphic novel that won a lot of awards in the previous years called Always Forever. And this was a masterpiece. I am beyond excited to check out I Am Their Silence because it tells the story of a young psychologist who goes with one of her clients to a reading of their family's will. However, this family seems like it is all about Knives Out, and they are ready to kill each other for whatever remains of this massive family estate. And the psychiatrist has to get caught in the middle of a murder mystery with her client.
I love that.
Yeah, I am so intrigued to see where this goes. I mean, once again, it has that Knives Out kind of feel to it that combined with Jordy's unbelievable artwork and amazing storytelling ability, I feel for $25 on a hardcover original graphic novel from a major European creator, this is going to be a really interesting one.
And what a different vibe, what a different flavor after Always Never.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's definitely an exciting one. And, I hate that it went so under the radar. I was messaging people this morning about this, and everyone's like, oh, I didn't know about this, but I wanted, please order me a copy, put it on my poll. So, definitely a good reason why you always want to look through, because even if it's not something we're going to spotlight, there's always hidden gems every week on Final Order Cutoff, whether you're on prhcomics.com, lunardistribution.com. Definitely worth eyeing through and letting your comic shop know, because sometimes even the comic shop owner and ordering managers will be surprised by some of the things that snuck under the radar there.
It's hard to keep track of all of it, even when you do this for a living. There's so many books every week. There's always going to be the things that are top of mind or that you're aware of, and there's the hidden gems. So this is why you got to tune into the live stream every week, folks. You got to have Mathias run you through it.
Yeah. All right. Oh, wow. And I want to point out, actually, going back to Berserker, because I'm happy that Greg acknowledged my, correction of getting the R right on their Berserker. But he also wanted to point out there's an easy 2-page recap to get everyone caught up. So if you haven't read Berserker, that's your opportunity right there. That can be the issue you dive in on, literally right off the edge of the ship and dive in to that pirate tale with Keanu.
Heck yeah.
So for you Marvel Zombie fans who are dying for more Marvel Zombies after that Disney Plus series, there is Marvel Zombies Red Band continuing on with issue number 3 as Thanos gets involved. And I mean, not just a snap of grab this issue. Look at those amazing covers. The Scott Koblish Infinity Gauntlet homage there. Beautiful.
That's stunning.
Yeah. We also have a large number of manga high in their volumes, as well as new entry points like My Bias is Showing, or My Cat is Such a Weirdo. I think we can all relate to that. I don't even own a cat, and I can tell you my cat's a weirdo. Let's see. Lots of fun stuff.
Oh, more
There's that Players Campaign Journal I mentioned.
Yeah.
But there's really 2 big ones I have left I want to talk about on PRH, unless there's anything you catch on there, Dan. As a huge Star Wars fan, somebody wearing a Star Wars shirt right now, Boba Fett, Black, White, and Red. I always love these anthologies because it gives different creators, different writers, different artists a chance to tackle these big characters. And whether that's a big creator who normally these major companies can't afford to, either pay or have the time to do an entire series, or it's somebody who just has a really cool, quick story to hit. This one gets me excited because we have Juan Jose Rip, who I think is always a talented artist and whose line work is like nobody else, teaming up with longtime Star Wars writer Ethan Sachs for a very unconventional story. Now, I don't doubt that you've seen Return of the Jedi, Dan, but do you know the story on those little spider bot looking aliens in the back there?
Damn.
Right?
Yeah. I love this take of like letting talent really take a swing, and Star Wars is notorious for letting anybody tell it. Like you can get backstory on any character. Wikipedia is just filled to the brim. I loved the Darth Maul Black, White, and Red series. I thought that was fantastic. Some of my favorite Star Wars comics in the last decade, honestly. I think that one was 4 issues, if I remember right.
Yes.
Yeah. That was a good time. That was Stefano, right?
Caselli?
Stefano Raffaelli. Yeah.
Was it? I think so. Yeah.
I'm trying to remember who some of the art was, but I loved it. Yeah. So I'm absolutely got to check this one out.
Yeah, but I got to say, as much as I'm a huge Star Wars fanatic, I had to Wikipedia, as you pointed out, all of these. The
Yep.
Boamar monks, which we see on the cover there, those little spiders of where the people have removed their brains and put them into spider robots because they're so devout to their, faith. Or even Jar's Purr, who is that infamous figure who appeared for maybe 3 seconds in the background of the cantina in episode 4, are getting stories with Boba Fett. And I love that we're going to get that because Ethan clearly knows how to do this stuff from having written the Galaxy's Edge and, what was the hotel in Florida?
That was, oh gosh. Yeah, the Star Cruiser. Yeah.
Halcyon.
Gosh.
But the Galactic Halcyon.
My dog is going nuts in the yard, so I'll come back and join you for Ultimate Endgame. Not to, peek ahead there, but
absolutely. But yes,
I'll be right back.
Fun Star Wars for Boba Fett fans. Some amazing covers on this. And I can tell you, I cannot wait for issue number 4, which is going to bring us to a very iconic planet with the incredible Alyssa Wong. But they have got a bevy of great writers on this. And it is fun to dive deep into those. Well, not every story you want needs to explain every minor part of Star Wars. For the hardcore Star Wars geek, it is really cool to get that now and then. Jay, you're a big Star Wars fan, right?
I am as much a casual fan of Star Wars as I am of Star Trek. I do like them. I have nowhere near the information that the two of y'all just went through. So
but is this the type of thing where then I have to ask? I mean, anyone can hop on the main Star Wars title. Does that ever intrigue you to check out these deep dives into a standalone issue like the Black, White, and Red of Darth Vader, Boba Fett, or Darth Maul?
oh yeah, absolutely. Like it's so strange to me too that those two characters became as popular as they did from the movies. Like Boba Fett, that one always gets me because I'm like, yeah, he looked cool, but man, did he become as popular or as synonymous with Star Wars as like the Skywalker name did? Like it's crazy.
It's one of those things I rarely ever think about. But yeah, Boba Fett had maybe, and I'm probably over exaggerating it, 15 minutes of screen time in the original trilogy across all 3 movies. And mind you, part of that was only in the special edition of episode 4. So
yeah,
it's insane how big he got. But that's something about Star Wars and Star Trek that we love. So the last big thing I want to talk on PRH is perhaps the biggest release from Marvel over the last 2 years. The Ultimate Endgame. Dennis Camp is giving us the tale that Jonathan Hickman set up 2 years ago when he relaunched the Ultimate Universe. He told us in 24 months, the maker would return to the Ultimate Universe from this walled off hidden city that I got to say Hickman loves doing, because back when he was writing Ultimates nearly 15 years ago, he did the same story with the maker. But now we're getting it on a grand scale as everyone is buying Ultimates right now. Ultimate Spider-Man, Ultimate X-Men, Ultimate Hawkeye, Ultimate Wolverine, you name it. This is the big conclusion, and they are not pulling any punches with a ridiculous amount of covers. Look at all these covers. I have to scroll. And even blind bags. Which I got to click on the blind bag so you guys can see the grand detail of everything on this.
Yeah.
There are going to be over 13 potential easygoing covers in there, exclusive covers to the blind bag, and even a chance to get an original piece of artwork from a major Marvel artist. And I'm not just saying anyone. I mean, we're talking Peach Momoko, we're talking Terry Dodson, we're talking, Mark Bagley and more.
Yeah, you thought the Batman blind bags were crazy. This is gonna be wild.
Yeah. And I mean, surprisingly, it's one of the times that Marvel does the rare thing of underpricing DC. The DC blind bags were $9.99. The Dynamite blind bags were $19.99. These are only $5.99, which I believe is the cover price of the traditional comic. Yeah, that is the cover price of the regular edition of Ultimate Endgame. you can get one of these blind bags that can be any one of those covers, including one of the exclusive mystery covers to the blind bag or a potential piece of original art, which is a whole other level.
Yeah. I'm going to be very, very curious to see where those original art pieces end up, who gets those, if we get any of them cracked on a live stream, or if people are going to, I think we're going to see a lot of videos of people, opening up their bags.
Yeah. So one thing I want to stress, if you want to play a gamble on these blind bags, reach out to your local comic shop and give them an idea how much you want to gamble. Because it's one thing to say you want a blind bag, but if you want 10 blind bags and you only say you wanted a blind bag, it's not going to be too shocking to go into your local comic shop and have the potential that they didn't order enough for you to get all that you want. But if you let them know before Monday that you want 10 or 3, 5, maybe 50, it is something where it is easier for your local comic shop to do that as long as you get them that information in advance. Because I'm not going to lie, I'm probably going to go after 5 myself.
I'm going to call my local shop this afternoon and I'm going to ask for 10 and I'm going to use them as some Christmas presents. I'm just going to sit on them and give them out to people as like that and a scratcher ticket.
I mean, it could just be a $6 book, but it could be a several $1,000 piece of original artwork. Who knows?
Who knows? That's the exciting bit.
I love it. Yeah, I mean, I'm coming on this incredible train of blind bags, everything from Invincible Battle Beast to Batman DCKO, Mark Spears Monsters, which I imagine every comic shop across the country is selling out of right now if they didn't sell out on Wednesday. This is the hot thing right now. So it is crazy.
In a world full of, certainties and answers you can get from Google like that, it's nice to have a little mystery and a little thrill. Like this and people breaking Pokemon packs have been eating up a lot of the algorithm. It's a lot of what I'm getting served.
Yep. All right. Well, let's hop on over to Lunar Distribution and see what the other half is doing at DC, Image, Oni, Dynamite, and more. So again, lunardistribution.com. You scroll down a small bit to upcoming FOC and make sure you're on the right date. This Monday is going to be October 20th, so we have these incredible items on FOC. Starting with Absolute Batman number 12 getting a second printing. I know we're all waiting and chomping at the bit for the Absolute Batman 13 second printing, but don't let this one be slept upon. If you somehow didn't grab Absolute Batman 12, just take a look at that Killer Croc cover.
What they've done with Killer Croc and the whole Arc M story that's happening right now, I love it. Absolute Batman's been phenomenal.
Yeah. A minor spoiler going back almost a year's worth of content, but the idea that Bruce is friends with what would normally be his biggest members of the Rogues Gallery, everyone from Penguin and Riddler to, Killer Croc, is such a great twist. I have to give Scott Snyder a huge amount of credit for that.
I'll embarrass Scott a little bit. 2 years ago at San Diego, we were at the CBLDF party, the industry party at San Diego, and Scott had come from the Lunar party previously and been having a good night, and we hadn't met before, but he's talking to a couple of retailers, and they introduced me. He's like, "Oh yeah, I've seen you talk at things. It's nice to meet you." And then he says, "You want to see something cool?" He pulls out his phone, and it's all it's the finished art for Absolute Batman number 1, but there's no lettering. So Scott proceeds to swipe through on his phone for me all the pages, but he's telling me what's happening. He's doing all the dialogue, and he's got an Alfred voice. He's doing voices, and it was highlight of my convention. It was really, really fun.
I've said it before. If I could somehow get enough money to just pay Scott to do nothing but read me comics, I would do it, because he did that for me with DCKO, and just the exuberance he reads these lines of dialogue is just beyond brilliant. I swear he just needs to make a podcast of him reading comics.
I would love that as like a charity live stream. Scott Snyder reads you DC. That I'd show up for that.
I would throw a lot of money that way. I don't own a lot of money, but I definitely wouldn't own any money if he gives that. I like that. DC Books on Tape as presented by Scott Snyder. Thank you.
You heard it here first, folks. We're gonna make it happen.
You know, so somebody just pointed out a very interesting question. What do you think Killer Croc smells like?
Oh man. I'm gonna say that Killer Croc smells like the dumpster at the Staten Island ferry terminal.
Ooh,
Yeah.
ooh,
Yeah.
ooh.
And
I was
that is
hoping for, like,
that's very specific because of who asked the question.
Yeah. I was hoping for a bit smoky leathery, but if we're going to talk about aquatic things that might smell a bit fishy, we got to go pop over and discuss Aquaman's big new arc, tying directly into DCKO, as well as all of the events of All In. Jeremy Adams has been making Aquaman perhaps the best book it's been since Peter David. And I know that we've had some big name creators on there since Peter David, but this is making it a huge level. And I think if you have not been reading it, issue 11 is going to be the one to jump in on, because not only tie into DCKO and everything that's been happening with Darkseid and the All In, we're going to have a lot of interesting twists on what we thought we knew about Atlantis. So a number of great covers available there, from Mera to Aquaman himself, bearded and unbearded, which is the interesting thing. You know, you're going to get beard and no beard Aquaman on the same covers. So you get to make the choice of which you prefer. And DC will probably decide from that exactly what the facial hair status is of Aquaman.
It changes the personality. A bearded Aquaman versus an unbearded Aquaman, he's a different guy.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I will always love 90s, you know, bearded and hook hand.
Hook hand.
There it is. So again, many great continuing series coming out from Lunar. But one big one that I have to point out is we're finally going back to Hush. Yes, we technically have already FOC'd issue number 3 of Batman. Why not go back in time to issue 162? Currently, Batman has a new Matt Fraction ongoing series, which is on issue 3. And it is still doing Hush 2, or Hattush, with Jim Lee and Jeff Loeb as we come up on part 5 of that run. Have you had a chance to start the sequel to Hush yet?
I have not.
Yeah. Well,
I did love Matt's new number 1, though. I really do like what Matt's doing with the character.
Yeah.
But I have not gotten into Hush 2 yet. I'll be honest.
Yeah. But another perfect example of why we do this show, why it is valuable for you to reach out to your local comic shop, because if you are reading Matt Fraction's run and you want to go back and read the Jeff Loeb, Jim Lee stuff, let them know. If you don't want that, you're on Batman, but you only want those low number incredible Matt Fraction runs, let them know. If you've been reading the original Jim Lee, Jeff Loeb stuff and you didn't jump in with Matt Fraction, make sure to remind your comic shop, I still need Batman 162 through 164, even though I haven't yet pulled the trigger on Fraction's epic new tale. This is one of those really confusing ones, because I guarantee you every shop is going to have the people who are like Fraction only or Jeff Loeb only. And it's going to be really confusing of who gets what version of Batman.
Well, and even, legacy numbering is confusing enough. I look at, Chris Condon's Green Arrow run, which has been fantastic, but they've got the legacy number and then they've got the number down below of the current issue. It's comics can be confusing. I'm glad that there's resources like obviously the Lunar Catalog and PRH and this live stream to talk you through it.
Oh, and even then it can still be confusing. I know I was sorting my Avengers last night, and once you get into the incredible Jason Aaron run, which has legacy numbering, and at the same time they were doing Avengers No Road Home, which has legacy that kind of cuts in there. It's really confusing. So always fun in comics.
Always.
Yeah. A lot of great continuing Batman series on FOC this week. but one that is a unique one because it doesn't have Bruce Wayne in it under any author is Batman Static Beyond.
Yeah.
Evan Narcisse is bringing us back to Terry McGinnis, Batman Beyond, and doing an interesting twist as we bring in one of the milestone classic characters, Static Shock. And we finally get to see him outside of his teenage years. We're going to see, I don't want to say old man Static by any means, but adult Static. And that seems like an interesting thing where Static could be the mentor to the young Batman.
Yeah, and I know we did get an older adult Static at one point in the animated series. We got a brief moment, if I remember correctly, in one, I think it was a Justice League Unlimited episode, but to come back to it and see it here, and especially with that Elseworlds label on there, let's go. I feel personally attacked and targeted by this comic. I'm 35 years old, so I'm the perfect age for when both Static was on the air and when Batman Beyond was on the air. So this
that was mid to late 90s, I want to say.
Yeah, late 90s, early 2000s. I'm pretty sure that the end of Batman Beyond. I'll do a quick look up here.
And while you're doing that, some great covers on it too. Absolutely amazing. I can guarantee you one of them made it into our top 10, but like I love these shots. I love the design. Whoever designed the adult Static, that is such an awesome version of the costume, the hairstyle, everything about it is really cool.
Oh yeah, it's awesome. But yeah, 99 to 2001 was when Batman Beyond was airing, and I know Static Shock was just a little before that, kind of in that whole Bruce Timm animated series era.
Yeah, the crossover that needed to happen, and is shocking, it took 25 years.
And I forgot that this was on FOC, so I'm adding it to my I got my little notepad here. Actually, a shout out to the Comics Courier, a wonderful comics news outlet that's been doing printed comics criticism. But they sent me the nice little notepad when I backed the last issue.
That's awesome. We'll have to take a look at that. The Comics Courier.
Comics Courier, yeah. It's got some great interviews, some great articles, very, very fun stuff.
All right. So, Skybound fans, if you haven't jumped on Blood and Thunder yet, the trade paperbacks FOC'd a short while ago and will release just in time for the second arc, Blood and Thunder issue number 7. If you like Invincible, I think you will like this. Benito Cereno, who actually used to do backups in the early issues of Invincible, is writing this amazing book with E.J. Sue, who did backups in later issues of Invincible, along with Tech Jacket, which is where we kind of got Invincible to spin out of, and might honestly see in the 4th upcoming season of Invincible. So
let's see
awesome.
How it goes.
I feel everyone is sleeping on Blood and Thunder. Well, people dove on the Skin Breaker. They're clearly loving the Energon universe. If you're a fan of Walking Dead and Invincible and you're not reading Blood and Thunder, you are doing yourself an injustice. A lot of great covers on that. And we're also seeing a lot of these Youngblood team-up variants, with Youngblood having FOC'd a new number 1. Yes, Rob Liefeld's Youngblood is back. It FOC'd last Monday. We're seeing Youngblood team-up variants across the Image books, which there's another taking me back to my youth in the 90s. Like I was not expecting, to ever see Youngblood on things again.
Yeah.
So all sorts of craziness there. A lot of wonderful. I have to stress again, perhaps one of the greatest comics for all ages that could possibly be coming out. If you're not reading Court, Children of the Round Table, please go to your local comic shop. Demand issues 1 and 2, because this is a whole other level.
I think there should still be copies available at Lunar.
Oh, absolutely, there is. Have you grabbed issues 1 and 2 yet?
I haven't, I'll be honest.
I'm talking to you on that then, Dan.
I know, calling me out. All right, it's going on the list.
Yeah, this is my like I cannot tell you how much this is one of my favorite things coming out because I can read this with my son. And I can read this with my son, or I can read like I remember when the first issue came out, I read it with my son, and then I had issue number 2 thanks to Tom, in advance, and my son went to sleep and I read issue number 2 immediately by myself. Eventually when it came out, I read it with him again, but it's a 9-year-old can enjoy this just as much as I'm way too old to say my age on, camera, but I am loving this series. It is great for everyone. When we talk about a true all ages book, this is Court. It is all ages. Kaya fans, great way to jump in. Whether you are a longtime Kaya fan or brand new entering with this issue, the Colossal Kaya one-shot will be a great entry point to Wes Craig's very awesome series, including a wonderful introduction that will have an easy entry point.
I love a one-shot just for that reason.
Yeah. So many. We're really in a great era of comics where there can just be so many amazing books on.
Yeah.
FOC.
Did you read the ICV2 white paper?
I did not. I have not had a chance yet.
Really,
without Diamond, I'm not getting my physical ICV2 still.
Sure. But strong sales across the board, and a nice shift in readership. We've got a lot of kids who grew up reading, Dogman and Captain Underpants are graduating into more adult comics and, picking up things across the board. So good indicators, strong sales.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Die's coming back.
Die is getting reloaded with Die Loaded. Yes, I didn't think they could possibly do it. We wrapped things up. The game ended, and yet, in the wake for Chuck, the kids are sucked back in. I guess they're not kids anymore. They're all in their 40s, but they are sucked back into the game because the game isn't over with them.
Oof.
Kieran Gillen, Stephanie Hans, right back at it. Grab your unique Poly 7 die and get dragged into this post-apocalyptic insanity of fantasy RPG. I'm beyond excited for this. And you know what the really cool thing is? I don't know if you saw that they made an actual RPG for Die.
Yeah.
But if you haven't played it, they made a $7 entry quick start guide, which will have everything you need to know as a basic intro to the Die RPG. And the coolest part, it's done as a comic.
Hell yeah.
So even if you're not going to play the RPG, you can enjoy a comic learning how to play it. This is going to be in every one of my staff's hands.
That is very cool.
Yeah. I'm most amused the idea of, I don't think I've ever been excited to read an instruction manual.
I am that nerd, and I do own some games that I have never played and probably will never play, but I enjoy reading and perusing the manuals for them.
Yeah. Well, and here's the cooler thing. On top of having a comic-based instruction manual, one of the covers for actual Die Loaded is a character stat sheet for Die.
That's smart.
So you can literally design your character to play the game on the cover of the book.
As a fan, that's exciting. As a sales and marketing professional working in publishing, I'm really pissed someone else thought of that first.
Yeah. I mean,
so cool.
I happen to know one of the sales heads of IDW that was working when they were doing Dungeons and Dragons and versus Rick and Morty. And he came up with it, but he made it a convention exclusive, which, look, that was a brilliant idea. It worked, but it's I wish that was more accessible. Why is IDW not just making a D&D character sheet? Why is Dynamite not making a Pathfinder character sheet one? I need more comic character sheet cards.
I mean, then can you imagine getting your favorite artist to commissioning them on a sketch of your character for Pathfinder, your character for Dungeons and Dragons? Come on, people.
I mean, I'm never going to be able to get Stephanie Hans to sit there and draw my character, but oh, the dream of it right there. That would be cool. So really quickly, I got to go back. Dick Tracy is going to Europe. I don't know if you saw this. Issue 13, new story arc, as Dick Tracy goes international and heads to East Berlin. Real statement of the time, obviously, of when Dick Tracy takes place, but very exciting concept. I don't think I ever thought of Dick Tracy outside of like a Chicago, New York City type of vibe, but I'm in for it.
I'm down to see international Dick Tracy. The number one Dick Tracy fan, Matt Live of Bat City Comics, is perhaps the biggest Dick Tracy fan I've ever encountered. It's truly staggering.
I can see that. I can see him dressing up as Dick Tracy. He has the look. He could pull it off.
He has the suit. He has done it a couple of times, actually. Yeah.
There you go. Wonderful folks at Bat City Comics. I love it. Matt and Shannon are great.
Good people.
So Disavowed, we had Josh Blaylock on the show a few weeks ago for FOC of this. If you did not read issue number 1, you are missing out on perhaps one of the craziest twists since Garth Ennis's The Boys. But this is The Boys meets G.I. Joe. There was at least 2 moments in issue 1 that my jaw had to be, scooped off the floor. And I can only imagine that is going to get a repeat with issue number 2.
I don't doubt it.
Let's see. Here's a key one. For those of you guys who are Marvel fans, you likely saw this on PRH a few weeks ago, and you picked it up off of stands this past Wednesday. Fantastic Four Gargoyles was out from Marvel, and it continues at Dynamite in Gargoyles Fantastic Four. So Greg Weisman still writing it. We have George doing some incredible artwork, some amazing covers. I personally will always love anything Amanda Connor on Gargoyles because she was the artist on Gargoyles when I read the comic 30 plus years ago. But
God, so great to see Gargoyles having this resurgence.
Yeah. Even in games, the recent or the upcoming set of Lorcana is going to have Gargoyles in it.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, that's fun.
So all sorts of fun, Gargoyles everywhere. I think we might be getting a new Disney Plus series and a live action series. I've heard so many rumors; it's hard to say what is what. But having the
Gargoyles, if they can give it the X-Men '97 treatment, I'll be very happy. I think most of that voice cast is still working too.
Yes, indeed. So, height of 90s nostalgia from Static and Batman Beyond to Gargoyles.
Again, I feel very targeted.
Yep. It's your age. They suddenly realize that people around your age have money.
I guess. I don't know any of them, but I'm sure some of us do.
So let's see. A lot of great continuing series. Oh, they finally got the color up. Yes, Rian Gonzalez is doing a paper doll version of Simon Baz. I love it. So Green Lantern Corps continuing on from Morgan Hampton. If you guys did not grab High Strangeness, which is out as of this past week, the second printing is now available from Chris Condon and Daniel Noah with issue number 2 also on FOC.
Big shout out to Chris. Also, that graphic novel right next to it, you want to click on Heaven, West Virginia.
Yeah,
that's another Oni title, and I got to read that at my previous job. So shout out to Oni. It's beautiful. It's absolutely stunning work from Ravi, and I think I don't even, next time you have Torma on, have him pitch you.
There it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't get a lot of stories set in the Appalachian Mountains. I mean, Oni seems to be loving the Appalachians. They've put out multiple in the past year, but you don't get a lot of those. So it's definitely something right there.
Yep. They're definitely become a home for Appalachian storytelling.
Yeah. Jay, you want to give us the quick, bit of love? Because you seem to like Gunpowder Prophets.
Yeah, it was, I think I was watching Des and Rich on the Geek Chat. They were talking about it, and it's supernatural. These partners, one of them's a big hulking. I don't really think he's human, but he probably is. Big dude. There's another one who's like the face, the smooth talker, and they just the first issue was them getting a woman's daughter away from her cult leading husband. It was just a really fun time. Like nothing too serious, a lot of humor, my kind of humor. Um, Again, it was one of those that if I hadn't been watching the Geek Chat, I probably wouldn't have known about it. Would have flown under my radar. But it's a Mad Cave book. It was a really fun time. So check it out if you're into that kind of like supernatural, good cop, bad cop, straight man, funny man kind of team up kind of thing.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, Supernatural is a great comparative for it, and I mean, it's Justin Jordan writing it, so you can do no wrong. Another man who is always focused on writing things set in the Appalachian Mountains.
Yep.
So, one of my favorite issues of Justice League is getting a facsimile edition, Justice League of America 21, the first big crossover, that first moment of multiversal crossover in DC of Earth 1 and Earth 2, the Justice League and the Justice Society.
You love to see it.
Great. Yeah. We have a lot of wonderful trades coming out. We have a brand new time traveling story from Mad Cave, The Liquidator, as Peter Milligan gives us the story of a young woman who has enough problems in her life. Why not throw on more by being a time traveling problem solver, trying to track down pieces that don't match with the times they belong in? Speaking of odd times and combinations, how about William Shakespeare's classic King Lear getting a manga edition?
Say less. I'm in.
Yeah, I have to say I've been loving Udon's manga classics. They have been great. I actually have, William Shakespeare's Hamlet, the manga, on my back bookshelf right now. But these are really fun. They come in hardcover and trade paperback form. They actually do really faithful adaptations of these classic plays while giving it just the absolute manga anime art style that we love. So this would be the new Spark Notes. Kids, if you weren't old enough to remember Spark Notes, but you're still trying to cheat your way through a high school class, manga classics.
And what's the MSRP on the trade paperback?
The trade paperback's only $20.
Great.
Yeah,
what a great way to teach Shakespeare.
Yeah. And I mean, the hardcovers are very affordable also.
Right.
So on those note of blind bags, we have Ultimate End, on blind bags, but I'm going to spend even more money on blind bags once again with Mark Spears Monsters #8. So if you missed it this past Wednesday, there was a prequel to Mark Spears Monsters with a blind bag, Mark Spears Monsters and the Wolf. For $5, you could get, or for $5.99, you could get a blind bag of one of over 75 different covers. There was the chance to get one of 22 personal copies that belonged to Mark Spears that were signed and remarked, or 13 Unholy Grail golden tickets, like it was something out of a Willy Wonka movie. And if you got that, you got a original piece of art graded by Mark Spears.
Wow.
Well, Mark said that wasn't enough. So for issue #8, he's doing it again. Now, the easy thing is it's only blind bags. You don't even have to question it. It's only $5.99 again. So, hey, even Marvel's got to run for their money with their Ultimate End there. And you're going to have over 75 different covers again. You're going to have all sorts of crazy things. But here's my favorite part. There are going to be twice as many special golden tickets in this bag. Mark is drawing even more originals that you can get in there, which means you have double the chances of having an original piece of Mark Spears artwork. It's crazy. I don't know how he does this. How does he have the time to paint this many things?
Some people, I think, get 26 or 28 hours out of their day somehow. I don't know how.
Yeah. I feel he reaches for like a full 72 hours in every single day. He's reversing the entire circular, what do we call when the Earth spins?
Orbit?
Orbit, there it is. Thank you. But yeah, so all sorts of crazy ones. Another one, though, to reach out to your local comic shop. Let them know how many copies you want, because even when you do that, it sometimes isn't enough. I can't tell you how many of not only my customers, I had to cut my staff off from buying more blind bags Because I had, staff member was like, I want 5 copies. And then all of a sudden, 10 copies later, it's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Calm it down. You got to leave some for the rest of the, customers. But yeah, these things are great. Blind bags, they're an addiction.
Yeah, they're getting people excited, and that's what's important.
That's what I love. Anytime, and I think the thing I love about Mark Spears is you have to open those comics to get those golden tickets, and that's the part that excites me more is people opening comics.
Yeah.
So let's see if Dynamite can pull it off, bringing back the Golden Age character Peter Cannon, Thunderbolt, Fred Van Lente, and amazing artist Jonathan Lau teaming up for a very unexpected character. This one, I guarantee you, predates me and Dan.
Just a little. But I remember when Dynamite did the original Masks with Alex Ross. And this feels of a kind with that. So kind of nostalgic for my earlier collecting days.
Yeah. So that'll be a brand new series coming out from Dynamite with a traditional Dynamite bevy of covers. Poison Ivy getting an incredible annual to time in with her 6th volume, both in trade and hardcover. DC finally figuring out how to get both trade and hardcover out of the same FOC.
That's always pretty cool.
And Kieran Gillen clearly thought bringing back Die wasn't enough. He's bringing back Power Fantasy for its 3rd volume to start off with issue number 13. So even more Kieran Gillen, you get to double down on that. But one I'm excited for is actually the 4th volume of Ghost Machine's Red Coat. I love Simon Pure. I think Jeff Johns and Brian Hitch, this is their best book. Now, to be honest, a lot of people love Rook Exodus. A lot of people love Geiger. I don't think anything touches Red Coat. But the interesting twist that this one is set in 1909. We're not even at World War I yet. We're in the Industrial Revolution. And Simon has given up his gunpowdered, save the world, one wild shot at a time for a clock punching job really has me intrigued.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to lie, Ghost Machine gave me the PDF and then kind of did a don't spoil it. So I haven't read it yet, but I am so excited to read this.
Listen, the folks working over at Ghost Machine are some of the best around. You see the Ghost Machine booth at a convention, you go and you say hello and you talk to those people because they're the best. Shout out to Danny Ward.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, an unbelievable, just like it is astounding how much talent is in that small little company. Like, it is crazy.
Oh, yeah. But, some of the best people.
Yeah. Bevy of great covers, even a Youngblood team up wraparound cover on there. Whoa, I lost my screen for a second. All sorts of fun returning there. We have more fun in the Supermassiverse with Rogue Sun coming out of that huge reveal in issue 30. If you guys remember, I told you that was a big issue. I hope you picked it up because that last page reveal of what's coming in 2026 is crazy. We have some more bad idea fun with Save Now. We have, and here's an odd one, a biography of Socrates. Or, as Keanu would say, Socrates. But yeah, this is an interesting one just based on the actual solicitation here. The idea of talking about Socrates as the first martyr to his own philosophies and beliefs, which might be true. Going back literally 2,400 years, Socrates was an iconic philosopher that many of you learn about in high school or college. But this will be a very interesting take. I am looking forward to reading a trade paperback about him. Mad Cave putting this out as an OGN. It's intriguing. I love the idea of seeing sequential art used in nonfiction ways.
Absolutely. And starting with Socrates, I hope they do the historic Greek lineage of philosophers. After Socrates, we get Plato, and after Plato, we get Aristotle.
See, I would like the historians. I need my Pliny the Elder, and all these other. Yeah.
All right, deep cuts, Mathias.
I like it though, and it's an interesting take. But yeah. So, again, so many amazing continuing series. Make sure you go to Lunar Distribution. Scan through them all. A lot of wonderful continuing series, a lot of amazing variants. There's even more spin-offs for your Thundercats with Panthro getting a one-shot by Ed Brisson.
Hell yeah.
More of that. I mean, that might be more my nostalgia in the 80s than yours, but
it was playing on Cartoon Network when I was growing up.
There you go.
Plus the much maligned reboot that I was a fan of. I did enjoy that 26 episode.
I still enjoyed it as well. I really
thought
did.
It was great.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel that, there's just a time period for that nostalgic cycle. And I love the Masters of the Universe and Thundercats and other, 2000s relaunches of the 80s cartoons.
Yeah.
So all sorts of fun. More Robert Kirkman, Energon Universe with Transformers and Void Rivals on FOC this week. Vampirella Armageddon continuing on. All sorts of fun to be had there. A huge one to pay attention to if you haven't checked it out, though. We're taking everyone down with us. It's its final issue. I hope this sells gangbusters because I want Matthew Rosenberg doing more of this stuff. This was very Venture Brothers-esque, I would say. An awesome series. And then, of course, Top Cow, Deep Love. One your boss, I believe, edited back in his days at Top Cow, Witchblade, enjoying its 30th anniversary with more amazing tales from Marguerite Bennett and Giuseppe Cafaro. I am adoring this. And we race towards the final issue of Zdarsky Comic News. This is the penultimate issue with perhaps the greatest cover in a saga reference imaginable, as the Lion Cat does a I can't even remember. I'm gonna have to go to you again, Dan. What is the machine?
Polygraph test.
Polygraph. There you go. The Lion Cat does a polygraph test on Brian K. Vaughan.
Yeah, that's very clever. And then we're getting the handoff to Comics the magazine after this, right? The Zdarsky News ends and that.
So we got
friends over at Prana.
Yeah. We have Zdarsky News 17 and 18, and then it gets passed off to Prana's new comic magazine, which I'm sure we'll be talking about at some point on here.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. But that was the Lunar Distribution FOC. I think it's time we cut to our top 10 as we're right now coming to that time. And I want to thank you also for joining me this long, Dan.
Oh, hell yeah.
All right.
My first time on, the little backstory that nobody knows is when I was at Oni, we tried to get me on a couple of times and timing just didn't work out. So glad we could make it happen.
Absolutely. All right. So let's look at the top 10. I love your thoughts on these big ones. Some great covers and great storylines. And we're going to start off with Eisner-nominated cover artist E.M. Gist on that unbelievable Boba Fett Black, White, and Red #3.
That's ready to be framed. Like, I need that on my wall. Look at that.
After we just had the passing of probably one of the most well-known movie poster artists in the industry, I mean, this is movie poster quality, I feel.
Over on my wall right here, I'll turn it just as we're mentioning Drew Struzan. That's print of Back to the Future 2 that's actually signed by him. It was from one of the last signings that he did before things had progressed too far and he couldn't sign anymore. I'm very glad to have that, regardless of his passing. Just a true icon.
Yeah, that was a major loss on Monday. So
yeah,
crazy. But and again, a huge amount of love to Eric, who I know idolized a lot of those incredible movie poster artists. He's a big fan of him, to Frazetta, and I mean, I really feel he conveys that quality of painting. His original paintings always look just as good, if not notably better, than these amazing covers.
Yeah, stellar work.
All right, in number 9. We have Redcoat. I love this wraparound cover. You didn't get to see it all here, but the fact that Simon is breaking the fourth wall and talking to us, giving a joke that this is not going to be your traditional issue of Redcoat, it's a fun one. It's well done humor from Brian Hitch and Brandon Anderson. I have to wonder if that was entirely Brian or if Jeff got in there to write that dialogue. Who knows? But fun piece there.
Love a wink and a nod.
Yeah. In spot 8,
Oh,
Seth
come
McKinnon.
on.
Yeah.
That's so beautiful.
So Seth McKinnon, very well-known fantasy artist. Magic the Gathering circles love and adore his Magic the Gathering artwork. This will be his second time doing a Poison Ivy cover, actually. And his first time definitely blew up on the aftermarket. I am expecting the same to happen here. And on top of that, the crazier part about this is we also have a major interior artist on Poison Ivy annual for 2025 as well. So aside from getting our traditional writing on this, we are going to have, I want to say it was Mark Buckingham, which I am confirming right now on this. Yeah, it is G. Willow Wilson and Mark Buckingham doing interiors.
Wow.
Throw that in with that Seb McKinnon cover, and you can do no wrong in my mind.
Is that an incentive?
No, that's an open order. That is
Shut up. Oh, I'm calling.
Yeah.
Right after this. I'm going to say, Jason, I need my shout out to Jason at Muse, my LCS here.
There you go. In number 7, of course, Raza. Just nailing that. The lighting on there too. Every bit of coloring makes this even pop better. But I love that new design for Static. I love the Batman Beyond glowing red in the background. Just perfection. I hope it's a Virgin cover. It's probably going to be a minimal trade dress, but even then, stunning cover.
Yeah, great.
In spot 6, we have Die Loaded. That one was a hard one. I mean, I'm excited about Die coming back. I'm shocked it wasn't called Reloaded. But that was a hard choice. There was a lot of great covers on this, including that amazing blank, but you can't say no to Stephanie Hans.
Very cool.
In spot 5, Sozo Micah goes back to the original red dress Michael Turner did of Witchblade. Pulling us back to that issue number 1 design of the red dress. I didn't think that you could do that in the modern era. Sozo pulls it off, makes it work. It is a sexy cover and a great nod to the original Witchblade number 1.
Another great gone too soon, the great Michael Turner.
Yeah. Oh, always, he was such a great dude. So in number 4, hey,
that's familiar.
It's Arcadia. I had to give it to that David LaFuente because Fixer, I think, is my walkaway favorite character of this series. And LaFuente does such a great job giving us an alternate look at her.
Yeah, again, really anchoring that sort of the human component of the story and how much this vast world is grounded in character. Absolutely. Love that dynamic.
And that one, just for reference, is a 1-in-5 ratio variant. So reach out to your local comic shop in advance, see if they're going to be getting it. They might be charging a little extra for it, as it is a ratio variant. So ask them what it would take to get one added to your pull. All right, down to the top 3. Berserker. I can't do it good. I feel so bad. Greg called me on the spot on that like some 6 months ago, it feels like at this point in time. And I don't know. Keanu Reeves Pirate. Rebecca Puebla doing a great job because it looks like Keanu Reeves Pirate.
Yeah.
Love it. The Bleeding Tide, Marjorie Liu. Oh.
Yep.
All right. Here we go. The big 2. Mark Spears Monsters number 8, because this blind bag could be anything. It could even be a boat. It has over 75 potential options of covers in there. Glow in the dark, foil, black and white, ultra rare things, the potential for signed books or original artwork. The mystery has me, captured.
Wild. But, may the odds be ever in your favor. Good luck, everybody, ordering these.
Yeah, I will say they changed the name on this. I don't know if you knew this. Originally, these were the Krampus blind bags. They were like the Krampus blind bags. Now it is the Winter Horrorland RIP blind bag.
Interesting.
Before we get to number 1, I just have to say, everyone, give Mathias a huge hand for that Family Guy. that Family Guy call out. That was so smooth, man. Good job.
Thank you. I was certain that was going to go over everyone's head, but all right, I'm glad that got cold. Okay, so how do we beat that? Another blind bag. It is the era of blind bags where not only 2 items in the top 10 can be blind bags, they're the top 2.
Wild.
And once again, 2 chances of original artwork because you can get original artwork by A-list Marvel creators there. Give me 1 second. I actually am going to glance over here at exactly what you can grab in these ridiculous covers. Do not share my screen right now as I go look at my cheat sheet here. But the options of what you can get, aside from the many amazing covers that are traditional open order covers, you can get the main cover by Mark Brooks. You can get foil variants by Derek Chu. You can get variants by Kafu, Chip Zdarsky, Dan Panosian, Alexander Lozano, Peach Momoko, Sanford Green, Ryan Stegman, Scotty Young, black and white virgin variants by Scotty Young, blue line blank variant covers, which those are very, very cool. You can even get blue line blank variant covers with artwork by Terry Dodson, Chris Giarusso, Ario Anandito, Pepe Larraz, Corey Smith, Peach Momoko, Linnea Liu, Mark Bagley. Oh, imagine owning an original Mark Bagley. Todd Knock, Phil Noto, Aaron Cooter, Ron Lim.
Damn.
David Marquez, and multiple Peach Momoko options is the crazy thing.
Gosh, I wonder what they spent on the original art for this alone.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then on top of that, you will be able to get exclusive virgin variants that are only in the blind bag by Peach Momoko, Mark Brooks, and Stonehouse.
Damn.
So
Good luck, everybody.
Yeah. May the odds be ever in your favor. That is the big Marvel blind bag. I can't even imagine. So
wild. Truly wild.
A lot of great books on FOC this week. It's a smaller FOC week, which makes it a little bit easier to order a few multiples on one of the blind bags or get multiple covers on that incredible Arcadia. Also, the perfect time to reach out to your local comic shop. Hey, it's a smaller FOC week. That means it's a smaller release week when these come out. Grab some trade paperbacks. Grab some back issues you might have missed. Catch up. Open some comics. Read them. This is my touch the grass moment. Open your comics. Read them. Enjoy them.
Yeah, there's all this stuff on the inside. It's great.
Yeah. So you like that cover? Just wait. There's at least 20 more pages of artwork in there.
Yeah, you won't believe what's on the inside.
But all sorts of fun. Yeah, no, I love it. Great week of FOC. A huge moment. I want to take a big thanks to you, Dan, for joining us, giving your thoughts on all of the comics, not just Ignition Press comics, because I think that's something you said to me very wonderfully is you and everyone else at Ignition have a strong opinion on not just Ignition books, right?
Yeah, good comics are good comics. We want to celebrate great work wherever it's done. I want people reading comics, period. If you pick up an Ignition book, I hope you'll follow those creators over to their work at DC or Image or wherever. And if you're picking up a, work from somebody elsewhere, Tim Seeley or Cullen Bunn book that you pick up from Vault or Oni or anything like that, and then come over and check out their work at Ignition. We're creator first, always and forever. And I want people reading good books. We happen to have some great ones this week.
And that's the thing I love about comics, because despite any bit of politics or society elsewhere in the world, I think that the strong reality in comics is a high tide rises us all. You go visit the local comic shop nearest you when you're traveling. You have your local comic shop that is your home. You have your favorite creators, and you follow them from publisher to publisher, title to title. Just enjoy sequential art.
Yeah. Come on in. The water's fine.
All right. So we'll be back next week. But what else is on the EXP this weekend and beyond, Jay?
Well, I'm not going to do the whole week spiel like Kyle usually does because I'm trying to save my voice to talk to Nick later. But we're going to have the original art show with Mr. Nick Barucci. He's back. Last week we had Matt Kennedy of Pop Sequentialism hosted the show while Nick was at NYCC. So he's got a bunch of great pieces, some stuff from Claude St. Aubin and Scott Hanna, Neil Edwards and Scott Hanna, some Bob Layton pieces, some Mark Bagley piece, some Tony Fleece pieces. Look, he's going to have a ton of art tonight. That's at 7 Eastern, 6 Central on The Experience. And then right after him at 9 Eastern, 8 Central, we have Friday Night Live with Nancy McCann and the folks at Comics Unlimited. So we still got some great shows coming on. And as always, thank you all for being here for this show. I keep telling people this is an underrated gem of a show. It's a little bit earlier than most of our other shows come on, but on the rewind, I see people are watching it. This is the show you want to watch, so you are in the know to go to your LCS and get your books on your pull list so you can make sure you get them. This is a great tool to do that.
It is a dangerous addiction because I obviously think that Dan's going to be calling his local comic shop later with a bunch more books than he originally intended.
You got me in trouble here, man. I got 4 more things I need to order now, which, well, it's good. It's good to read comics, so I'm not that upset about it. But I'll be sure to have plenty of note paper ready the next time I come on and bug you.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much again, Dan. Give me that one last reminder of where everyone can find more from Ignition Press so they can get their orders at their local
We are
comic.
at Ignition Press across all socials, and then come on over to ignitionpress.com. There you can sign up for our newsletter. Hey, look at that. Sign up for our newsletter. Stay in the know. But our Instagram and our TikTok are a very, very worthy follow. And we'll see you if you're out at Baltimore Comic-Con this weekend. Stop by and say hi to Philip. And check out the books. Jeremy Hahn will be there. Stephanie Williams will be there. There'll be signings. So come check it out. Get some book signs. Get some books signed and get hyped and join us. This is early on. Ignition has only had books coming out for just at September. You know, we're still pretty early on here, but we'd love you to come check us out at Baltimore Comic-Con, and we'll see you in comic book stores.
All right. And we'll see you all next week. Thank you guys for watching.